Hey everybody, this is Sifu Z.
I'm Johan.
We're in the Colorado Kwoon here in Denver, and this is the Intro to Wing Chun series. The previous lesson was actually a Wing Chun talk, which then evolved into us talking about game plan. But it's about an hour-long episode, so there's a good chance you might not have seen it. We've got a bunch of other lessons as well, and they're all linked down in the description. I felt that perhaps I should do a game plan 2, and I'll recap what was said in game plan 1 and then elaborate a bit more on game plan 2. This is such a huge topic, really, that we could go into game plan 3 easily, and I think we probably will. But let's recap. 1, you are dealing with a self-defense situation. You want to have a game plan. So our Wing Chun game plan is a 3-tier game plan. So what that means is the first thing we have to do is get into a position of strength, right? Get your feet under you, right? Get your wits about you. 1. 2, control the contact, control the angle, control the contact. And at the same time, get into a good position. It's the best time, right? Get into a good position. Once you're in a good position, 3, finish them, right? Close the deal. So that's what we talked about to somewhat of a pretty in-depth extent. But there are things I didn't cover, and I want to cover them today. So that is, it sounds easy enough. A, B, C. But the thing is you might have to go from A to B and hang out at B for a while. Maybe even back to A, unfortunate. But, you know, you don't want to lose your structure and your power, your position of power, right? When that goes, forget about it. So you may have to go back to A, but you go back to B as soon as you can establish control in the contact, right? And then you go to C, finish, but you can't finish, so you have to go back to 2 and maintain that control, right? And there may be, you have to go back to A. Now here's the thing, even if you never get beyond A, you'll have succeeded as long as you haven't been taken out of your position of power, right? Now, you might have to take some lumps and bruises, right? So that's why you want to be in a better position, right? But I was thinking what I'm trying to say here is if you just kind of loosen and give up, well, then you're dead, right? So if you have to take the punches, make sure you're compressed, make sure you're in a good position of power, right? And then once you are, wait for your time, wait for your moment, right? For you to then take control of the angle of attack, take control of the contact. Part B. If you have to go back to A, you go back to A. But you don't want to, but don't not go back to A, right? And don't try to be desperate and go to C when you haven't had full control of B, right? So that's why we spend a lot of time on A, getting the strength, getting the power, right? We spend a lot of time on it because if that's the worst thing that happens, where we got to take a beating, at least we're not taking the injury along with the beating. That's huge. That's what self-defense is all about. All right. Now, once our power is good and strong, well, then we can kind of force the second part, which is really get our angle together. But we just can't do it in lieu of losing our structure and our position of power. All right. So we're saying you can go to A and you can go to B and you go back to A. You can go A, B, and C and go back to B. You can go to A, B, and C, but you can't go from B back to A, right? You don't want to do that. You don't want to go from A and try to go to C. You want to maintain that linear trajectory, right? That keeps it simple, right? So you go, oh man, I couldn't finish it. All right, let me maintain control. And like, man, I can't maintain control. All right, let me just get my wits about me. Let me get my feet underneath me. Let me get compressed, you know? So, and then you wait to progress again. It may be a long progression of going A, B, A, B, A, B, A, B, C, right? What you don't want to do is hang out at B too long. In other words, you don't want to like maybe get control of somebody and then just stall and hang there for too long, because give anybody enough time, they'll figure out something clever. It's happened to me every time. You know, I've told you the stories where you guys breaking my fingers, or, you know, they just, sure, they get dirty. They fight dirty. You think you're kind of giving them a little slack, and shoots, they're doing the right thing. They're taking advantage of what you're giving them, right? So, yeah, you don't want to hang out at B for too long. All right. A, you never leave. You're kind of bringing your A game with you the whole time, right? But yeah, you get to B. Once you've got the control and you're solid, then you can finish. So, have I said it all?
Yeah.
I think I've said it all on this. Yeah. Okay. There's more. There certainly is.
And how
more.
the three forms, the related.
That's right. That's right. Well, we talked about that in the previous lesson, so I won't go into depth. But yeah, Wing Chun is just coincides perfectly with this game plan. The forms, Seal and Tao, Chum Kyu, Buji, are coinciding with first, second, and third A, B, and C game plan perfectly. Just it's amazing. Well, that's how we came up with the game plan, isn't it? Right, by way of Wing Chun and the three forms. So it's a fascinating thing that the three forms give you a very concise game plan.
Yeah.
If you pay attention.
Huge.
Right? Yeah, because
Compact.
Because the Seal and Tao is all about getting your strength and your power and your structure, right? The Chum Kyu is about building the bridge or breaking the bridge, right? And Chum Kyu is about thrusting, finishing, right? So that's how it sounds to me. You know, that's how I interpret it. I'm sure there are many interpretations of Wing Chun and whatnot. And I enjoy listening to the various, you know, perspectives of the Wing Chun system. But I'm very fortunate and I always say appreciate. That's the word I'm looking for. Very fortunate and really appreciate the fact that I was able to learn from Chris Chan, who learned right alongside with Bruce Lee with Ip Man. I mean, that's crazy. That's crazy too. I know I don't look that old, do I? So, the Wing Chun game plan. It's the best game plan around. It's amazing. When you pull it off. It sounds easy, but it isn't, because you have to stay in your structure and insist upon your structure, right? Your integrity. You have to insist upon it the whole time. Can't, like, in order to get a quick win or something, jump out of integrity, you see?
Yeah.
All right. You have to insist upon it the whole time. And so that might mean that you never get to 2 or 3 because your integrity tells you differently. You see? Oh, we got a little deeper. Good.
Yeah.
I'm glad we got here,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. You might never get to 3, but as long as you maintain the power, right, the compression, the structure, then you may have to deal with a little bit of pain, but now you're mitigating what? Injury. And that's what self-defense is all about. It's not about running away from the pain. It's about mitigating the injury and staying in the fight until you get a good position and know what a good position is. Ooh, right? So that takes a little bit of study. And then once you're in a good position, finish them. Finish. And it turns out that if you do 1 and 2 properly, number 3 is easy. Easy. Right? And in fact, if you're really good at number 1, number 2 gets easy. Right? And then number 3 is easy. But if you're not good and solid at number 1, the first part of the game plan, well, then the rest of the game plan is rather challenging. Yeah. So the good news is we can get strong and stronger and stronger just through Kimi Ma and Siung Tao. So we can really do a lot about game plan A, part A.
Yeah.
Right? Now, controlling the angle and stuff, we may be limited, right? We may be limited. We might not have a Muk Jung. We might not be able to Chi Sao, right? So those skill sets you might not be able to develop, but you can develop the skill set of being solid and strong. And then maybe even turning in knowing how your structure, if they hit it improperly, they're going to hurt themselves more than they're going to hurt you. So that's huge. Yeah. So, and that's just coming from part A of the game plan, right? It crosses over to part B, but still, right? It's not a lot of movement, guys. If you see something coming, you don't just stand there and take it. You stand this way and take it. Right? However that might be. I'm being very barbaric and primitive right now, but I'm just showing you that's effective. That would be effective, right? Just this out here, being strong, everything out here, right? Just that alone is effective. But Wing Chun is much more refined than that, right? We can achieve a lot more, but as long as you maintain the game plan. So part A of that game plan is the single most important aspect, because from here, all you have to learn how to do is pivot at least, right? Just pivot, right? Pivot, right? Pivot, switch, right? Pivot, yeah. So I'm not really doing a lot of chasing around. There's not just really focusing on my opponent's center line and what's coming at me, right? And allowing it to come into my structure, not me hitting my structure upon it, allowing it to come into my structure, right? So anyway, I'm getting really deep now. This is probably, now we're getting into part 3 of game plan. All right, so I wanted to share that much with you. Again, if you couldn't get to part A, then I'm kind of recapping part A for, you know, the game plan. Video lesson 1. If you couldn't listen to that, I've recapped it for you. Yeah, we'll come on back for part 3 of the Wing Chun game plan coming soon. So if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button. It really helps us out here so we can get a URL. If you want to be notified of our next lesson, hit the notification button. If you got any comments or questions, they go appropriately enough in the comment section. You can contribute to this series, Intro to Wing Chun, by going to paypal.me/Sifu Z. That's spelled capital S, lowercase, IFU, uppercase Z, all one word. paypal.me/Sifu Z. And if you want more information, you can go right to sifuz.com. And if you'd like to start joining us on a regular basis, you can join us for as little as $1 a month. And you can do that over at patreon.com, you guessed it, /Sifu. So is that it? Anything in closing?
No. That's
No.
it.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, except
That's
for
it. For this
game
time.
plan
Part three.
Part three, right. It's coming, guys. All right, we'll see you soon.